What's up everybody, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to take a side-by-side look at the Ford F-150 with the new generation Toyota Tundra. I've always been more of an F-150 fan in the last few years, mainly because the Tundra has been so outdated. But now with the all-new 2022 Tundra out, we're going to compare them and kind of see which one is the better truck and which one is better for you. So we're going to take a look inside and out, check out some specs, take a few clips of driving each of these trucks, and then meet back here with my final thoughts. So both of these trucks are going to have a 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo engine. We're specifically looking at this King Ranch alongside a 1794 edition. But in the Ford, you get 400 horsepower with 500 pound-feet of torque and a 10-speed automatic transmission. Over on the Tundra, from its engine, which is the same size and everything, a little bit less power, 389 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque, also paired to a 10-speed automatic transmission. The Ford weighs in around 5,100 pounds for this SuperCrew cab, and it can get 17 miles per gallon in the city with 23 out on the highway. The Tundra is a little bit heavier at 5,500 pounds, but you get identical gas mileage. And then when looking at some capabilities, the Ford is going to be a little bit better for towing. It can tow around 14,000 pounds when you max it out, and payload is 2,100 pounds. The Tundra is not quite as good. You're looking at 11,000 pounds towing and 1,800 pounds payload in this configuration. So then when we compare the exterior styling, the Ford is a little bit more normal looking. It looks like just your basic modern truck. Very nice styling, of course. It has a nice large grille, the Ford logo, a separate chrome bumper down below, big headlights, LEDs, sharp lines on the hood. When you hop over into the Toyota Tundra, it's a lot different looking. The front bumper is all basically one big piece, all integrated into the front end rather than having a separate metal front bumper. The grille is probably 10 times larger than the Ford. Huge design, massive grille mesh. You get body color parts that go towards the sides of the front bumper. Very bold with the LED headlights, more sharp lines on the hood. When you look at the side profiles of the Ford, very good looking truck, great proportions. The SuperCrew cab is going to have proportional doors, both that are full size. You get the shorter bed on this particular vehicle. Taking a look at this Tundra CrewMax, you get the same full size 4 doors, and then the shorter bed, 5.5 feet, still looks very proportional. You get a few more sharp body lines on the side profile of this Tundra, especially around the front and rear fender arch. And then you can see around the rear wheels how the whole bedside kind of comes around it. And again, gives it that unique design. Same with that blacked out A-pillar, the Tundra definitely stands out a little bit more. And then when you come into the rear of the Ford, it looks, once again, a pretty normal truck back here, a metal chrome bumper, nice looking tailgate with some design aspects to it. And then when you take a look over at the Toyota Tundra, once again, a little bit more unique with a full integrated rear bumper that wraps around the rear end, sharper taillights, cool integrations with the Tundra stamping into the tailgate, and it certainly ties in the design of this all-new Tundra. Now moving to the interior, both of these trucks are pretty loaded with the King Ranch versus a 1794 edition. They both have that country vibe with a brown leather interior. Really can't complain too much with either truck. The seats look fantastic on the Ford. I love the two-tone. You can also see the perforated leather, the stitching. The door panels look really nice. When you take a look at the Tundra, same sort of deal. You get really comfortable looking seats, a little bit more power controls, however, and I really like the stitching on them. So both seats for sure look great, same with the color combinations. You do get full LCD digital gauge clusters on both trucks. You can mainly just go through the center screen like any normal vehicle, and you can make the speedometer and tach disappear a little bit to see a little bit more information right in the center. In the Tundra, you get a really cool color display popping up when you first start it up. And then it's very basic in the center, not really too many configurations, I will say, but you get your tach in the center, safety information pops up in the center, and you get your normal information that you're gonna want. And then when you take a look at the infotainment screens, I think the Ford one is really nice with this massive Sync 4, huge camera system. Once again, you can go through all these settings within it. Very user-friendly, easy to use, navigation pops up just like normal. The Tundra has a very similar size screen. It looks great. However, it takes a little bit getting used to. I'm not the biggest fan how it seems like you have to subscribe to the navigation system. And for being a fully loaded truck, this truck even was pretty basic with how the screen was set up. I think it's a little bit easier to go through, but I don't think there's quite as many options. So it kind of depends on what you like in your truck, if you want more information or a little bit more simple user interface. You still get awesome cameras, top-down view, front, rear, all of that. So definitely both trucks give you everything that you need right there. And then the rest of the interiors on both trucks are really, really nice. And then moving to the tailgates and the beds on these trucks, in the King Ranch, you do get power outlets over on the left side along with LEDs. And of course, there's tie-down hooks everywhere. The tailgate does have a measuring system. So if you're gonna use this as a work truck, that's very beneficial. There's also areas where you can have a C-clamp and use this as a workbench. And then of course, we get an integrated step that folds out of the tailgate itself with a handle and everything to make it very convenient to climb in and out. When we hop over to the Toyota Tundra, when we open it up, we get a carbon fiber composite bed. So even though this truck weighs more versus the full aluminum construction over on the Ford, this composite bed doesn't save any weight, it doesn't look like. We do get some tie-down hooks, power outlets, and rails all around, and then just a traditional bed with a plastic cover and just a normal plastic cover on the edge part. All right guys, so we are gonna set off now in the 2022 F-150 King Ranch. This is definitely a really sweet truck inside and out. I love the specification. So leaving it in the normal mode for right now, just to get our bearings with it, you have a really good view out all of the glass. You have a huge windshield. The mirrors do a great job. Windows are large as well. And then over my left and right shoulder, I mean, pretty much no blind spots in a truck. They're always really good. The overall ride quality seems pretty comfortable with the suspension and everything. The seats absorb the bumps too because they're so padded. Armrests are in a great place. And then when I give it some gas, the EcoBoost has some torque. That was up to 55. The EcoBoost really does pack a punch and get you up to some speed. And the 10 speed, you don't feel any gear changes. It just lightning quick shifts and does what it needs to do. It really does carry its weight really nicely. A little awkward to shift down here. I highly doubt many people are going to be doing manual mode in this, but if I leave it in automatic, sport mode, it keeps the revs a little bit higher. We're at 2,700 RPM, cruising at 50. If I give it some gas, throttle response is way quicker and the whole thing just sharpens up. That is a really cool touch. All right guys, so we are setting off now in the all new Toyota Tundra. Wow. I mean, that gets you up to some speed so quickly. It sounds really meaty too. Transmission is so smooth. This is a nice truck to be in. It really is. It doesn't just drive like an old truck. You know, it actually drives very smooth, like kind of like a luxurious SUV, I would say. It has that feeling to it. It is a solid rear axle, so it still is a truck, body on frame, you know, all the stuff you're gonna want out of a vehicle like this. But this drivetrain is where it's at. You really get some power. And when you compare this, honestly, with the Ford's EcoBoost, this sounds a lot better. And I feel like the transmission is much sharper. Wow. This is just giving it a little bit of gas. You can hear the turbos. Holds the gear a little bit more aggressive when you're in the sport mode. And then going down into the eco mode, the throttle tones down quite a bit. The Bilstein suspension absorbs the bumps really nicely. The body roll, you know, there's a little bit of swing to it, but it actually feels really composed. I think Toyota just did such a good job with the whole way this car handles, or this truck handles. It doesn't just feel like an old truck. It really does feel like something you could daily drive. You could take this anywhere, I mean, use this all the time, and then you still have all the capabilities that you're gonna want out of a vehicle like this. It's a big truck. You can tell you're not in a Tacoma anymore. You can see how the windshield is huge, really good view out. The mirrors all do a great job. And then pretty much no blind spots looking over my left and right shoulder. So overall, after driving both of these trucks back to back, originally I really liked the F-150 comparing it to all the other trucks in this class, mainly because you get that torque from that twin turbo engine. But when you hop in the Tundra, even though it's down on power, it feels so much nicer to drive. And the way I kind of word that is the Tundra feels more like a nice luxurious SUV. The Ford F-150 drives more like a truck. It's a little bit harder around the edges. You know you're in a pickup truck when driving the Ford. The Tundra completely it fades away and you feel like you're in a Sequoia or something that you're gonna go on like a family road trip with. So I like the refinements in the Tundra. I think it just gives it that sense of quality, that sense of luxury, and kind of that sense of just very comfortable to drive. The Ford is still really comfortable and powerful and everything. You just feel a little bit of edginess to it. Not to necessarily say that's a bad thing. I know truck guys, you want your truck to drive like a truck. So the Tundra kind of softens up a little bit to where you don't get that trucky aspects to it. And then when talking about drivetrains, I think the Tundra is actually smoother with power delivery, the gear changes. It just feels, once again, a little bit smoother around the edges to make it more refined. Now, at the end of the day, I would probably actually buy the Toyota Tundra just because Toyota reliability is absolutely rock solid. While this is a brand new engine from them, I really trust Toyota reliability, and I know that truck is gonna last a lot longer than the Ford's EcoBoost. The Ford, you can get the basic V8, which is gonna be a pretty rock solid motor, but it's a little sluggish in the slow speeds compared to these twin turbo options. So overall, I think the Tundra is a little bit better option. Price-wise, depending on how you spec them, they're gonna be kind of similar, of course. But if you really are using it for more of the capabilities, the Ford is gonna outpower the Tundra with the towing capacities as well as the payload. So I think they're kind of 50-50 on which one is better. It really comes down to what are you gonna use. If you're gonna actually do a lot more towing, the Ford is gonna be better for you. If you're gonna do more of just maybe hauling some dirt bikes, smaller items hauling, the Tundra is gonna be a little bit better to rack up the miles in since it's slightly more comfortable. But overall, I think you cannot complain with either truck. I think those two are absolutely the kings right now. I think General Motors and Chrysler, they need to step it up a little bit and offer something as good as these two, because these two, hands down, are my favorite trucks in this class. And after driving both of them, and I've driven plenty of specs on each of them, definitely are my top picks. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, taking a look at the 2022 Toyota Tundra, comparing it to the 2022 Ford F-150. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next video.